I introduce myself.
Yeah.
Okay, my name is Leo Zagami. I'm 37 and this is my story. My story goes back to the fact that because of my family tradition I joined various secret societies during the course of my life, and I found myself involved in what is known as the New World Order. The New World Order is for some people a way to implement fascism on a global scale. To do this they want to use technology, they want to use means like microchipping and also surveillance technology to control all aspects of our life. We find ourselves in front of this every day when we go around and we get video surveillance everywhere these days, so we don't have any more privacy. Everything is in the hands of the big brother, and this big brother is in the hands of the police, of the military police, of the intelligence, military and civil intelligence, and they are all working these days not for the governments but for the corporates who are keeping together this big business together with certain families and certain banks that have done this for a long time. Well, my personal experience, I can talk about my personal experience. I was initiated on the 13th of April 1993 in Rome. It was a peculiar time in Italy because the P2 Lodge scandal had erupted and Freemasonry was in turmoil. Grandmaster Giuliano Di Bernardo, who is now the Grand Master of the Academy of the Illuminati in Rome, split from the Grand Orient of Italy and was forming his own Gran Loggia Regolare d'Italia, which was the only one recognized by the United Grand Lodge of England. And I found myself initiated by Prince Alliata di Monreale, which is an Italian aristocrat who goes back a long time with his family and my family. We have a relationship of a few hundred years and even some relatives in common. And he is the head, or used to be the head because now he's deceased, the head of the Order of the Sword and the Eagle, which was a Masonic order which I came to belong to. And then he also let's say directed me to what was to become the Monte Carlo Lodge, the Committee Monte Carlo, which was already a lodge and was to become a committee, a Masonic Executive Committee in 1999 that was to have people from all the various Masonic obediences, chivalric orders, secret societies, and work in a way above all these structures as a superstructure within the structure of the Illuminati, with this base in Monte Carlo, and Ezio Giunchiglia, who was the treasurer of the P2 Lodge, had this in mind, and the P2 Lodge position as treasurer was a very important one because the P2 Lodge also was connected with the Vatican Bank and with Monsignor Marcinkus, the very big character who was also died recently and was involved with the scandal of the Vatican Bank that erupted more than 20 years ago and involved Roberto Calvi, that ended up killed in Blackfriars Bridge, under Blackfriars Bridge in London in 1982.
Have you personally witnessed some people talk about how do you know this thing?
Yeah, for example, I gave you a book before, Universal Unity, in which there is a mention of the microchipping and the great benefits it will bring to the people in charge, because they can control everybody without really having to be there. You know, you can also control the whole prison population, put them in isolation in an island, leave them there, just control them by microchip, and you don't have to anymore even have a prison if you have everybody microchipped.
it would be like a global prison.
It will be a global prison in which certain people will be punished simply by not having the possibility to have this or this other service if they are bad boys.
Wouldn't like a one world government something? It could be something positive also, like.
Yeah, one world government could be a positive thing if it was in the hands of people who were clean, people who were of clean principles, and who believe in God, who have a positive way of viewing their fellow citizens. But this doesn't happen because the minority is more and more scared of what the majority is thinking. And so they're always more and more attached to their own inheritance, what they have inherited for hundreds and thousands, for thousands of years. They have an inheritance, they don't want to leave it to the people. They want to keep it, they know they have this force, especially with the banking system. People like Rockefeller, Rothschild, driving banking forces which are way above the imagination of a normal guy. And these forces are the ones who are really behind the wars and behind all the international situations we are living today, especially around this false flag terrorism and this terrible situation of 9/11, which is basically blaming the Islam when in reality it's being created by the CIA together with the Vatican Knights of Malta and with people who are inside a totally different structure from what people can imagine, and instead they blame it on the Islam. Islam is innocent, is not to be in any way connected to people like Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda is not Islam. Al-Qaeda is being created by the agents of the West. That's why it's part of the Wahhabi conspiracy against Islam, because the Wahhabis is a form of Islam that is being created by the Zionists and by the British agents. And the Wahhabis are the ones in charge of the Holy Land of Islam, though, in this moment of time. So we have very much a conspiracy that is driven by all these heads of the religions who are not honest with their people, and especially with certain religions who are being corrupt. Because religions are made to be corrupt, mankind is made to be corrupt, and obviously maybe the genuine message was given at the start to a messenger, to a prophet, and then it degenerates because then you give the power to people, the people want to have control over other people, and from the positive message of a religion, then you degenerate and you reach the wars and the conflicts that we have nowadays.
So I've also said that the 9/11 and the war on terrorism is about bringing this new world order.
Yes.
Can you?
Yeah, for me the experiment started a long time ago. After the war, they brainwashed the population of Europe, the Americans, with the American dream, with the first program called the Magnetize, used by the OSS, then became the CIA. Then they started with these programs of mind control. We know obviously of MK Ultra, Mind Control Ultra. They inherited these programs of mind control from the Germans, the SS. They used these programs. They inherited the worst experiments and the worst technology that could be used against humankind to literally create robots. And amongst all this, there was also the fact that the certain secret societies had been behind the creation of Nazism, and these secret societies were still powerful and in control in America, like the Skull and Bones in Yale University, and like the OTO, for example. And these secret societies that have worked to create from the beginning one world order have already worked through the First World War, the Second World War, and now they are working on a Third World War, because that's what they have already predicted from the start.